Hello and welcome to the New Mindset Podcast. This is Georgia.
And this is Jacob.
We are so excited to have you with us either this morning, tonight, today, whenever you're tuning in.
Yes.
Hope you are well.
I hope you're pleasant.
Pleasant.
Exceeding expectations.
That's set
I
bar high.
never saw that on my report card.
Oh.
I saw
Meets expectation.
standard.
Satisfactory.
Satisfactory.
I always got to exceed expectation.
Yeah, right.
Me beating me. How you go?
I am good. We just had a singing sesh.
We did. I won.
Oh,
Hey.
just.
Oh, okay.
No, you flogged me.
Thank you.
We went down, got some snacks, and doing a podcast. And then we're going to do some packing, I think.
Pack for Japan.
Well, when this comes, we'd be back from Japan, or this would be the last week when we're there. But I'm keen for. I only came up with this episode today, and then I did a Instagram post. Well, I did Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn post about it, and I wanted to expand on it in this form because I think it's a very useful topic.
No, that's great. So that was a shameless plug. If you're not already following us on those different platforms, please go do so now.
Excuse me, I don't even know what a plug is.
You're just plugging something that you've done or something that you want people to go and check out.
Well, yeah, go and check it out.
So you plugged it.
I'm about to hit 800. We're about to hit 800 followers on Instagram.
I'm about to.
Well, I look after the Instagram.
Yeah, no, Jacob does all the socials. So you are about to
I've
hit.
gotten a lot better at it.
How many people? 700?
800.
800. That's pretty cool.
Really cool.
I'm going well. Thanks for asking.
Oh, yeah, how are you going?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Excited about.
How was your drama teaching today?
It was good. We actually powered through a play. It was awesome.
What play?
We're working on Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh.
A short, abridged version.
I only know him from Shrek.
Oh.
You know when Rumpelstiltskin was in Shrek? I think it was like Shrek
No.
3 or 4.
No, I don't.
Oh, you should watch it then.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, all we did was there was a whole bunch of different settings, and in this particular abridged version, there aren't many speaking characters, but it's a class of about 20 plus kids. So you want to try and involve everyone as possible. So we spent the whole lesson creating all these different scenes with our bodies.
Nice.
Which was cool. It was cool. We did a throne room. We did a cellar. We did a house that had a mill out the front. It was really cool to see their imaginations fly.
Love it.
Wholesome.
That sounds so good.
But speaking of wholesome,
Yes.
I think that, this topic is really cool, really awesome to bring people's minds and attention to. Because therapy, counselling, psychology, all of that kind of thing, those types of services are sometimes not seen as an essential, but sometimes they can be really important for people. So it's important that you're getting the most out of therapy.
Yep.
And the sessions that you book in for.
So the title is How to Get the Most Out of Therapy.
I was trying to be seamlessly weaving it in, but I didn't get there.
Right, I got there for you.
Thank you so much. So first question, why did you, Jacob,
Yes.
want to discuss this topic?
Well, yeah, because this one, how to get the most out of therapy, just isn't spoken about because therapists don't typically talk about it because they're not concerned with, typically, we're not they're not typically concerned with the price or that you're paying or how long it takes to, get to where you need to get to. I've had one good therapist before that's, very conscious of, let's get, we're going to get this done in set 10 weeks. And that's a good approach. But a lot of them just, they're happy to really slow it down. And therapy, 100% you need to be patient. But I feel as though therapy half the time doesn't need to take as long as what it does. And I'm not saying that that's a money grab. I think some people, like any industry, some people are in it for money. So I'm just saying you want to be careful of that. But that's why I want to discuss it, just because these things are not brought to air. And what else have I got here? Therapy costs an arm and a leg. So we want to make sure that parents and families get the most out of the money because therapy, one of my friends is seeing a psychologist and it's like $350 for 1 hour. And
are you kidding?
No, and that's nuts. And I don't think we could ever charge anything like that. No. I just couldn't bring myself to do that.
Well, yeah,
but it's like supply and demand. A lot of psychologists now are around the 300 mark because they can, because everyone else is. And we were only talking about it today, why it's gone up. And obviously everything's gone up. Like, to rent a space costs so much. And, if they only see a few clients every day, well, they got to up their price.
Yeah.
So there are reasons for it, but I don't think I could ever do that. But that's another one. And like I said, there's no manual when you go and see like a health worker, a counsellor, psychologist. So you don't really know like the process at all. So if someone was being a little greedy, or, say if your problem, say like you had, just for instance, you had a breakup with a boyfriend, girlfriend, and, typically you could have resolved that within 6 weeks. Imagine if it was 12 weeks. It took you 12 weeks. It's like, well, that's double the money, double the time, and it could have been done in 6. So there's a fine line between being patient and balanced and, not wasting time and money. I think that's up for the therapist. And then you've got to sort of put the intention out there of,
I've got this period of time.
Yeah.
Or like, these are my goals that I want to work towards.
Yeah, definitely. So that's why I wanted to have a chat about it.
Yeah,
'cause there's a whole, well, you're in therapy at the moment, and you're loving it, but could you sort of see where I'm coming from, where it's, there should be a healthy balance between time and money and also patience?
Yeah, 100%. I think the pathway that I'm kind of going down now with my therapist, like there were a few targeted things that I wanted to deal with and work with, but I really am quite happy and content with the relationship that I built with her. So there are a few other things that I didn't necessarily go to therapy for to explore that I now want to, as a human being, I want to develop these skills.
Yeah.
That, look, I could potentially develop these things by myself. I could develop them with conversations with you. But at the moment, because of how they have the things that I want to work on are also kind of, if I think about it, like there's a few weeds that are kind of covering it. I need someone that has the right skill set to be able to get rid of those weeds so that we can get to the cause.
And an unbiased opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah, I totally see where you're coming from, where there could be that the process could be shorter. Yeah,
and in your case, I think, was it every fortnight you'd see like your psychologist?
I was originally seeing her every fortnight when it was tougher.
Yeah, so every fortnight, and then you've sort of reduced it to every month, and then, it could be every quarter in the future. And that's what I'm sort of getting at. Like, that sort of plan is healthy. I just, it's so hard to say because everyone's different. But if you, in your scenario, if you were to go weekly, that would be too much.
Well, then you would build a dependence upon, I actually found it when I was seeing her fortnightly, I depended upon her to have reassurance about the decisions that I was making.
That's a good point.
Whereas I think that it is healthy when you're feeling comfortable enough to kind of space out your sessions where you as a person can have that independence to trust yourself with the skills that you've developed with your therapist to be able to then move forward.
Love it. Yeah, good.
That makes sense.
Very good.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like to, because I'm not seeing a therapist at the moment, so it's tough for me to somewhat relate. I don't really remember how often I would see mine. But you're in the mix of it at the moment, which is really cool to be able to give practical, like real world, this is what's happening.
Yeah. And there was even a session recently that, look, I was in a really great space and my little reminder came up and I said, look, I'm actually don't really need to see her. I'm in a great space.
Nice.
So maybe that's a really nice little touch point, building that dependence. Building that independence, maybe touching on some of the things that people can do before they seek a therapist.
Yeah, so I want to have a chat about over the next 10, 15 minutes of what you can do beforehand, during and after to maximize your therapy session.
Yeah.
So beforehand, I reckon enter this, if possible. So I'll keep using your instance, obviously,
Yeah, and I can give examples.
Yeah, thank you. So with yours, you went in with the purpose and intention of discussing a particular topic at the time. And that's what I'm saying. If you can potentially do that, awesome. But, sometimes, let's just say depression, for instance. Depression is, let's use trauma. Trauma is so technical, and you use the word weed. Like, it was weeded before, so there's things that tangled everywhere, and with trauma, you've sort of got to open up this door, and then it opens to that one, and then this one, and it's like, all right, well, it's tough to go into a session like that with intent of getting to the end goal. But if you can go in there and say, this is the source, but this is what I want to talk about today, that's awesome. But you can also go in there and just say, hey, look, I'm feeling really off and I want to have a chat about it. And you'll get there. It may just take longer. So if you know what you want to talk about, go in there with intent and purpose. Do you find that?
Yeah, like I was going to say, I have experience with kind of all three of those. So one being going in with a really clear purpose, and it was a super productive session. I literally had a checklist, and I was like,
Yep.
okay, these are the 6 things that are on my mind that I would like to discuss. And she's, okay, let's prioritize.
Yeah, see, they're
but I went in with a mission.
good psychologist is very flexible to what you want.
Yeah.
Because it's you at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I've gone in with a mission. There's been ones where I have had no mission, and I'm like, oh no, I forgot that I had this appointment. What am I going to chat about today? And I've had maybe out of all of them, and I've seen her for over a year now, which is crazy, that they get a little bit lost. And sometimes I can come out of it and say, look, that was great to get that off my chest, but I didn't really have a clear outcome that I got from it.
Yep.
And that was just a little bit kind of, I didn't come in with a clear mission. And then other times I've gone with her to say, hey, I'm just have all of these feelings. And this is the emotion that I've been having. I don't know why. I don't know where it's come from. Or maybe it was a particular event that I just wanted to unpack from an emotional standpoint. And even though that didn't have a clear outcome, I got the closure that I needed to. And we just got a bit curious about my beliefs or my reactions, my emotions and
Values.
processing. Yeah, so we're starting to unpack things underneath that is my overarching goal. Going to see a therapist is to really get to the core beliefs and my, the way that I operate and function. But yeah, it was an event or an emotion that helped navigate that journey. So it wasn't a clear goal or outcome, but it did relate to my overall goal of seeing her.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah. So it is beneficial to have that clear, okay, this is what I want out of this session.
Yep.
Or, okay, I've felt this event, I've felt this emotion, this event has taken place.
It's definitely beneficial. Like in the long run, it will save you time and money potentially. However, if you do go in there and if you're in the middle of, you don't even know, and you're just got these disgusting feelings, and you know that you want to have a chat about it, then go and do it, and it'll still be effective.
Yeah.
Like, it's all different for everyone. Like, I know I've gone into sessions as well where I just know that I need to talk about my anxiety is just going crazy and I've got no idea why. And then we figure it out. But then other times I can go in with, a month of journaling and habit tracker of like, okay, this is off, this is off, this is off. That's why I'm feeling like this. I need some practical advice, please. And then we're good. So either way works. But if you can, just, I think, put some onus on your own life and have a look at it, and you don't have to figure it out, but try to find the source of the pain or whatever you are trying to seek, and then go in there with purpose and intent. The next one's really quick. So beforehand, do your research and plan who you would like to see. I know, like typically for me, I I prefer to have a woman psychologist. I don't know why. I've had a man psychologist before, and I was about 12 and he was in his 60s, so that could have potentially created that barrier for me now, where I'm like, I don't feel comfortable
seeing a male because of that one experience.
I open up a lot with a lot of my mates, but it might just be a male that's an older male that I don't typically fall in that relationship with, just because of one. It wasn't even a bad experience. It was just more of like an uncomfortable, this doesn't feel normal for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. You might have the same, but I know a lot of people out there tend to see, like, for instance, my mum, when we were getting my little brother, like a physiotherapist or something along those lines, we wanted
like
a male.
OT.
Yeah, we wanted a male so they could get on, like, because he gets on better with younger men.
Women.
So, yeah, do your research. And then along with that, make sure you understand the payments, like the charges and things like that, because, like I said, it can get expensive. And you've been seeing your psychologist for over a year now. So it's definitely 100%. That's why we're going into it. It's effective for people. Like, people need it. But it is pricey a lot of the time. So just, take that into consideration.
Yeah. And be really open with maybe it might be the first session that you do have with your psychologist, just when you say what they charge. Sorry, I meant therapist. Just be really open with them, because they will be compassionate with, hey, look, I can only afford 6 sessions at this particular time.
They should be
compassionate. Can we space them over this period of time?
Yep.
You know, can I see you for 6 months, therefore once a month? Or, only 6 times, but let's do it every week, so 6 weeks.
Yeah. Look at...
Yeah, just be open about
I know payment
what you're
plans are a
happy to do
thing
too.
now with therapists. So, yeah, like whatever works.
Just seek your options. Ask the questions, you know, even if it doesn't say it on the website. Hey, am I able to do this on a payment plan? Like, just ask the question.
Yeah, so that's more of just, you know, being responsible.
research.
Yeah, just do your research prior. So that's my tips for prior to seeing, you know, a therapist, counsellor, psychologist,
Yeah, and that's
psychiatrist.
awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the before. What about while you're in the midst of your sessions? What can someone do to make the most of them?
Yeah, so I've got here, be open to being vulnerable and understand that the process is going to be challenging. You know, going into psychology, it's not a... I don't know. I personally wouldn't use the word enjoyable. It's not the funnest thing in the world. It's definitely something that I needed and you needed and a lot of people need. But I think at the start it's not fun because you get hit with a lot of hard truths. You get hit with a lot of fact, or, you know, your perception of something is completely wrong potentially, and that can hurt. And I think for me, it's a little enjoyable now after like 10 years of like, oh, I was wrong on that. That's cool. Like, I find that's just me though. I find it enjoyable to be, I was wrong. I was completely wrong on this point. This person, I was wrong. But so just be willing to be vulnerable, and, you know, it's not like you could get hit, not physically. You could get hit in the face with a lot of hard truths, basically. So that's not fun. Just be prepared for that. You've got to trust the process and understand that patience is going to be required. There's no quick fix, typically. And that, you know, that can that's vice versa with the whole, you know, therapy doesn't need to take as long as what it does. There's that balance in between of be patient and understand that this is going to take a while. And also, okay, now this is just going too far now. You got to find that balance on your own. A good psychologist will help you though, obviously, therapist. And I've got here, if you feel, and this came back to your point before, if you feel as though the session isn't going how you would like it, then you can honestly just say, hey, look, I don't need to really talk about, I'm fine on this side of things. I'd really like to talk about this today. You know, like my work stress, I know we spoke about in the past, but I'm actually feeling all right now. Like, I feel really good. It's more of my stress with my husband at home or my wife. Can we please focus on that now? And, you know, because, like I said, it's your money and your time, so make sure to get what you want out of it. And I think those were the 3 big things I could find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had that? Have you ever gone into a session and realised that wasn't really what I needed to talk about today?
It was a bit of a combo of probably the first and the last point that you said, and it was actually my most recent session where we were talking about something and I kind of gave part of the story, and we were getting to some resolution and the action that I need to take in order to feel better about the situation. But there was one teeny piece of information that happened after the event took place and after I discussed it with my therapist, that in the back of my head I was like, oh, this one little extra thing, like this one sentence, one comment that was said could change the action that I need to take. But we've already spent so much time talking about this topic, maybe I should talk about something else. So just when that goes into, if the session isn't going to go the way that you want it to, I guess how that relates to me was, okay, I was going to spend an hour talking about this event, but this action may not actually suit my life because of this one piece of information that I didn't share.
Yep.
And I was nervous to share with her, hey, so I know that I said this thing, but actually this thing happened as well.
So did you forget to mention that?
Not that I forgot.
Did the story
but it
sort of get
only,
interrupted?
It only kind of came to my mind as we were getting through the resolution.
Gotcha.
So she was partway through her resolution. I was like, oh, actually, this also happened. And she was like, oh, okay, cool. And then we discussed how that influenced things and how it changed it. And it wasn't actually by that much, which was great.
Yeah.
But that was kind of, if you, I guess, with that first point of being vulnerable, and being open to being vulnerable, like if you can't be honest with a therapist, you're really saying that you can't be honest with yourself, because the conversation that you have with your therapist is not going anywhere.
Well, you're wasting your money anyway.
Yeah, you're paying this person to help you from a completely unbiased opinion, and they only know you from what you tell them. So if you're really hurting and you're really struggling, they can only help you as much as what you share with them.
Yep.
And sometimes that's not even like dialogue, that's body language as well. Maybe the therapist just needs to hold space for you to cry for 10 minutes. There was one of the ladies at work that said she literally spent an hour and this woman just sobbed and cried and cried. And they ended the session, thank you for doing that. I just needed to open up and release all of that.
I remember when I was working in insurance and people would, like, this wasn't an everyday thing.
Yeah.
This was like every 2 months.
Yeah.
People would call up and just have to just vent and just cry and let them cry. And I was in insurance. I was nowhere near even, I was like
Any
19.
kind of mental health thing.
No. People just need that time just
Space.
to, I had a good cry the other night with you. Yeah. And now I feel much better.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to cry at the wedding. I've got all my tears out. It's all good. I've had my big cry.
Yeah. But I guess also in that, don't feel guilty if a lot of the session is just processing emotion. You don't have to come to a resolution. If you feel as though that, okay, there is just this thing and I'm so confused and I just need to give myself permission in this hour of time that I've paid this person to hold space for me. The way that I need them to hold space is just let me feel this emotion.
Yeah.
I guess part of that is don't feel guilty if you're not talking for a full hour.
Yep.
Therapy looks different for everyone.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
You're welcome.
I didn't thank you. But yeah, no, I agree. Like it's
what you want to need it to be.
Yeah, like again, I'll say it again, it's your money. Like, yeah, you choose to go there. You choose to give them an hour, probably an hour and a half with travel, and then $200 to $300. So you better get what you want out of it. And if you need just to be, because if you've got a partner that's emotionally not there, and you've got kids at home, and then at work you're just busy, where's your time to be heard by anyone?
Yeah.
So you've suddenly got this hour just to be heard by this person, and you might just let it all out.
Yeah, and that's where I've had a few sessions too. It's just like I've been here, there, and everywhere. I work multiple jobs. I do commuting and transporting.
Yep.
Public transport and driving up and down the coast in the past few weeks. It's been a lot.
Yep.
So yeah, the most recent sessions that I've had with her have just been, hey, I just need an hour where I can just, this is what's going on in my head.
Yeah.
And she can piece things together.
Yeah.
And I go off on tangents, sometimes I come in with a clear mission and I start on one way and then I drift off into something else and, I apologize for her and I say, sorry, I've just gone off. And she's like, no, it's all painting a picture. So like a really skilled therapist will help piece together what you're struggling to piece together.
Yeah.
Like that whole knotted string and then the swirl. I really like that image.
And that can be a hard truth because you're looking completely right, but the answer's actually completely left.
Yeah.
You had no idea.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my tips for maximizing your experience during the session.
Yeah. And what about after a session? Are you referring to there, just so I can clarify, are you referring to just after one session or after all of your collective sessions?
No, sorry, that's a good question. Just after a session.
A session.
A session.
Yeah, cool.
So you can reflect on what you'd like covered in the next session. So we've spoken about my relationship today and it's, I'm feeling quite good, but now I'd like to really dial in on myself and how I show up in this relationship next. Or I really want to discuss my partner and the action that this person does. So come with a game plan for next session, if you can. If you can't, don't stress, all good. Like, I don't think a psychologist, a therapist honestly expects you to. But if you do, it just saves time and money, like we've said. And honestly, it's a good learning practice for you to take that responsibility on. And then I've got here, ensure that you create time for reflection after the session. That could be as simple as, something like journaling, putting in place of practices that, that you came to a conclusion with your psychologist. So, every week my partner and I are going to have a game night every Friday night because that's how we're going to help our relationship and going to bring joy back into it through that way. So that's a practice. So you better well do it. Like, you better do that. So, reflect on it and put it in place. And that, when I say put it in place, talk to your partner, put it in the calendar, set an alarm and make it happen. And then, sometimes we do this. I know when I used to see a psychologist or when you see yours, we debrief about a little bit of it, what you're comfortable talking about, and you choose the person that you're comfortable with and just have a chat to them about it. If you don't want to chat to anyone, even better, that's fine. Who cares? That's whatever you want. But, I know that after I come to this huge conclusion or point with my psychologist, I'd love to be able to share it to, like, you or mum or, best friend, and it's just like, how crazy was this?
Yeah, I had this discovery.
Yeah, so I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. And then I think I just had added a few tips on before we came in. This, I haven't written this one down. This came to me just before, but a good psychologist will hold you accountable and they won't be, they're not going to be biased toward you in that instance. So if I go there and chat about you and say if our relationship was struggling, then a good psychologist shouldn't think that you're just the problem and back me. They shouldn't just be... What's the word I'm looking for? Like, they shouldn't just be...
Validating.
Yes, that's it. They shouldn't just be validating you. Like, a good psychologist will hold you accountable.
It might take time for them to do that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, they might not do that in the first, month or 2 or 3 of knowing you. Like, it might take them 6 months or so to really be able to feel comfortable to do that with you.
Yeah, but just if you do want to be held accountable, that's another thing to say to the psychologist.
Yeah,
because I know
communicate that.
Yeah, I know that I love to be, if I am in the wrong or if I'm not seeing something and I'm just seeing it through my own eyes, you got to tell me because I'm just going to keep on that train unless I get told otherwise. So that's a good one. And then the last one was don't expect to click right away with the therapist. Be willing to be patient and for it to be awkward at first because you haven't met this person hasn't met you, and now you're in a room discussing some real deep stuff. And that's scary. But
100%, let alone not clicking with the person that you're divulging your deepest, darkest secrets with.
Yeah, and when I say clicking, you can go out of the session or you can enter the session with, you're a really nice person, I like you, you're nice. Or you could be like, that felt weird. But give it another go.
Yeah, and it depends on what the kind of vibe and the environment that you want. Like you might really connect with, you might be someone in your, late teens, early 20s, and you want a 50, 60-year-old that's like, oh, I need that mama bear kind of energy to help me through whatever it is. Or you might want someone who is very experienced but only a few years your senior. You might be... Yep. You might be early 20s and really click with a 30-year-old because it's like, oh, yes, someone kind of really understands the things that I'm going through. So it just depends too on the type of support that you want. And you might not know until you find someone that clicks or find someone that doesn't.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And I think as well, just quickly, find which service you actually need. Do you need a psychologist? Do you need a psychiatrist or do you just need a counsellor? What?
You used my least favourite word just then.
What?
Do you need just a counsellor?
Well, like when I say just, I don't like to use the word just either. I shouldn't have done that. But a psychiatrist is a medical, like they can prescribe medicine.
Yes.
A psychologist can diagnose. Yes. And a counsellor is all of it, but they can't prescribe or they can't diagnose. Yeah. But they've got the skills of a psychologist, essentially.
Yeah, to hold space.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like if you need, say if you're going in there and you believe that you've got ADHD and, you really want to get to the bottom of this because, your mum's got it or your dad's got it and, you're pretty sure that you've got it or your GP said you had it, well, you're going to and this is not medical advice, but, you know, a psychologist can diagnose that, the right one that's qualified. But if you need antidepressants, like I had to, then you go and see a psychiatrist who can prescribe you the correct medication. Yeah, but if you don't need any of that, then counsellors well equipped to help as well.
And then you've also got social workers and mental health practitioners in there too. So have a little, do your research
or
and
even
have a little look at the profile of the person.
Like Lifeline, if you just need to get something off your chest and for someone to hear and listen, and, you know, money isn't affordable right now, then that's a great service too. Like, there's everything out there. So I think just find the right service for you. That's what I'm saying. And, I don't want to, I'm never, you know, we're studying counselling, so I'm never going to look down on counselling. But, just to make sure, you know, counselling's got all the other skills. You just, you know, can't diagnose and can't prescribe. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
I like that.
That's me.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Have you got a checkout question?
I actually don't.
You've been watching a lot of Harry Potter. Can you give me one Harry Potter related?
Ooh, yes. If you... Oh, this has turned a bit dark.
Oh, jeez.
Only because I was actually researching what each of the Horcruxes mean and how they all came about, because I was just curious, because we know that they're objects, but we don't know their significance behind them.
Yep.
So if you take the murdering someone out of it, because that's how you create a Horcrux, but we're not murdering people. I just want...
I'm not.
I just said we're not. If you could put part of your soul in a significant object to help you live forever, what significant object would you choose as your Horcrux?
And it's kind of got to be disguisable, hey?
Oh, well, not really. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, one of them was a notebook. Another one was a necklace. Another one was a tiara. Another one was a person.
All right, you go. You go first.
Yeah, I would probably do one of my rings.
One of your rings.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I would have to choose my sapphire ring.
Yeah.
I think I'd choose that because sapphire's the birthstone, and then I got my nanny's eternity diamonds. So it's a very special ring. So I would choose that. That would be my Horcrux. Part of my soul would live in this forever.
And you got to protect it.
Yeah, well, I never take it off.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to have to go a ring.
Why are you
I'll go the
looking at me
wedding
like
ring.
this?
I'll go my wedding ring.
No, you
when
can't
I
copy
get it.
me and be a ring.
But I'm getting a wedding
else.
ring. All right, I will go. What are the bracelet I have?
Oh, yeah, worry beads.
Worry beads?
Worry beads.
I'll go them.
Yeah.
Yep. That just seems like a
Well, they're pretty cool.
they are cool.
They're a bit expensive.
I'm very
But that's
expensive.
because they have good properties in them.
Good properties. But yeah, that's what I'll pick.
Yeah, okay. Your beads and my ring.
Yes.
Love it.
Love it.
Amazing. Well, thanks, team, for jumping on and checking out this episode.
Jordan's really anxious about closing
I'm
podcasts.
awful at closing podcasts. I'm really sorry. I'm just not really good at saying
you
bye.
are improving.
I'm not.
We'll do some mock
I'm
ones
just
after
being
this.
vulnerable and
Okay,
honest.
thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope that... No, you go. You go. Finish it off.
Well, I'll do that.
Close it.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. We really hope that you found something valuable out of today's, this morning's, this afternoon's episode. And look forward to chatting to you in the next one.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.
Nailed it. Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye.